done tripping, I'm tripping, I've been sipping, that's how I control.
Radio at its best. Relax Radio.
Welcome back to Relax Radio. This is Relax Radio with me, Nick, and we got my girl Laura with us back today
Hi.
over the weekend. How you been, Laura? How's the weekend been so far? How did it treat you?
Yeah, the weekend was great. Didn't really have that many plans. Plus, I missed a good barbecue yesterday, Nick. You won't believe it.
Are you actually following the rules that the government has laid out? Oh, the
I
adverts
am.
have actually worked?
Honestly, I am. I am following the rules, but now we can meet with friends and stuff. And there was a very good barbecue yesterday. It was a bit of short notice, so I couldn't make it. But apparently, it was lit. Oh gosh!
I mean, what barbecue event is not lit? I mean, when there's barbecue involved, anything is lit.
Exactly. How was your weekend?
I mean, it was pretty good. It was so, just trying to relax, take it easy in the bed.
Yeah.
And, I was just trying to take it slow. You just have those weekends where you just want to take it really slow.
So you basically just slept all weekend.
Pretty. I'm not gonna argue there. Yeah, that's what I pretty much did. Right. But yeah, I've been having a good week. But during the weekend, I noticed a lot of things happening in the UK, and it's been a very, let's say, a bumpy ride for the health minister.
Yeah, I don't think everyone's going to be forgetting what happened with Matt Hancock
definitely
for
not.
a while. It is still, it's still trending. Following his resignation, the Prime Minister is coming out to say that he took a decisive action, despite him saying the case was closed. He was not going to say anything about it. And and apparently it's like everyone is taking out the cameras in their offices because no one wants to be involved in any scandal.
It begs the question, though, like, I mean, to be caught, okay, fine. He had his whole affair, XYZ, that happened. And now, I feel like the Prime Minister went back on his word. He backtracked a little. And because, he's trying to avoid a backlash. You can see very clearly what happened. And it's pretty clear. He got caught and he got red-handed on camera, smooching it up with his aide. And Boris Johnson was just like all cool about it, and he said, "Okay, you know what? Never mind. It's okay. I forgive you." And now Matt Hancock resigns, and now he's trying to take credit for that. He's like, "I did my decisive action."
Oh yeah. It's like
I
everyone
feel like an alpha dog kind of thing going on there.
I feel
trying
like
to assert his dominance.
Yeah, I feel like we're all going to have something to say about Boris Johnson if Matt Hancock had not resigned. And I personally feel like it was a decision the both of them made. Just so, let me just, I'll resign and then we'll preserve your integrity and your government and all of that. But I honestly think that a lot of people are really like frustrated about, over what he did, because genuinely, a lot of families have lost their loved ones in this time.
That is true. So
in particular, this one person was saying how he couldn't go to his daughter's funeral, or something. And then, he couldn't go for the funeral. And then Matt Hancock, had to break the rules. So he was honestly like genuinely angry. And I could understand that came from a place of hurt after losing a family member or a loved one. And then you can't bury them the way you want to. And then the health minister is doing this. So
it does beg the question, though, like he did on his part, he did a big mistake. I mean, admittedly, it was a big mistake.
Yes,
he should have done all of these things, and he should have been more of, setting an example rather. And for him not to take that into consideration and then, do all what he wants to do. And then, and the public, witnessing all of these things, it just causes more people's faith in the government to fail. It's going to falter.
But I also want to ask, if that had happened outside of the office, we all have made it a big deal like now, because this happened in the office, right? And then there are rules of within the office, you still maintain that 2 meters, but outside you can still mingle with people. You can still meet with family members and stuff like that. So,
I mean, looking at it like that, it's interesting because it's outside of work. It's not inside.
Yeah.
I mean, outside. I mean, people wouldn't generally care. Yes, will it be news that he cheated on his wife? Well, it would make the news. It would. It would
Yeah.
definitely make the news. But would it have been a big deal? Not so much.
Exactly. I don't
But
think he would have broken COVID rules per se if it
yeah,
happened outside the office. But the fact that he couldn't wait to leave the office, it's like you probably close by 5 p.m. Just hold it. And when
he
you go out
couldn't.
those doors, do whatever you want. It's no one's business, your personal life.
I
But
know
as
that's
long as the
true.
rules are there,
That is right. I mean,
so
first of all, you're the guy who made the rules. And that's the
yeah.
funny thing about it. He imposed the rules. He implemented all these rules, these strategies, and then he
Hmm.
goes out there and starts breaking them. And then to top it off, it's with a work colleague. And at work, I mean, look, first of all, we have to think about the ethics of it.
Exactly.
There's always going to be that thing where, okay, so he had an affair with his aide, so his aide is looking for power to gain more power, or XYZ. It could be myriad of reasons, but we have to understand
Yeah.
that whatever he did, I mean, that's him, that's on him. But to do it in the office place, I mean,
Yeah.
it causes a rise for concern, and people are going to be offended. People are going to be angry. Like you said, there was a person who had their daughter pass away. That's going to be frustrating, because when you see
Hmm.
someone you love pass away or get sick, and you are trying your best to follow the rules and all do all of
Exactly.
that, and then you see the health minister, having a good one with his
Yeah.
aide, well,
I
that's going to
think
cause a rise
I
concern.
think that people wouldn't have necessarily minded if it was not the health minister. The
Yeah,
position he holds is so powerful that when he talks, everyone listens. It's like,
they
oh,
have
Matt
to.
Hancock has said this, we almost obey. But then knowing that you hold the position of the health minister and then doing what you did, breaching the rules or breaking the rules, it questions your integrity, it questions
Correct.
your capability in the office,
Exactly. I
and
mean, yeah,
yeah,
that's right. I mean, it does. I mean, what kind of example are you setting? Is the real thing.
yeah, of
And
course.
it's. I mean, for me, also, when it comes, like I said, to work ethics, people, they've been back and forth about this. Like, they don't want to, work in offices. They've been having issues now. Like you said, they removed the cameras. They don't want their cameras inside the office. Why though? That's questions though. Why?
It's like people are hiding something. I don't know why people are taking out their cameras from the office, because some people would say, why? What do you have to hide? But then some other people would say, whatever happens in the office is strictly confidential.
That's
It
true.
should not be leaked and all of that. But then again, Matt Hancock doing that, we know a lot of people who have relationships in the office.
Oh,
Even if a lot of companies do this, you can't date your colleague or whatever,
I
but
mean, it's a policy. Yeah, that's true. But for me, okay, fine. They're saying that it's privacy and all. I mean, what sort of privacy are you looking in a workplace? You're there for work. You're doing your work. That's it. You're in, you're out. I mean,
yeah.
it's not like data is going to be. I mean, if you talk about data privacy and stuff like that, okay, that is important. That's a breach
Hmm.
of privacy. That's a person's
Yeah.
identity or whatever, XYZ. But inside the office place where you come in, you're supposed to do a job and not be, gallivanting with your aide. I mean, that's just, I mean, what do you expect people, how do you expect people to react? And for you to take off
Mm.
the camera, it just shows that, you are guilty of something.
Yeah, I don't think there's any problem with having a camera in the office as long as you don't have the camera in the bathroom or in the toilet of the office, then there's no problem with that,
Oh,
honestly.
that's not going to be a pretty
Yeah,
picture,
because
though.
because a lot of things happen, and if it's a case
That
of
is
an
true.
emergency, you
That is
need
correct.
cameras in offices.
That is true.
But you're in an office, you're sitting down on a desk, you're probably making phone calls on your computer,
Pretty much, yeah.
taking out some notes. You're not nude, you're not naked, you're not
That is correct.
taking your clothes off. I mean, we don't know what happens in some offices, to be honest, but in the general sense of an office,
You just
those
had to
things
put that
shouldn't
in there.
happen. Those things shouldn't happen. Okay, but it's really sad, and I kind of feel sorry for him, to be honest, because
I mean,
I don't know what is going to be left of his career.
I'm not really
The whole
afraid of
world
his
has seen it.
career. I mean, look, we have to understand politicians. I've seen all aspects of politicians, and they always bounce back. Always.
Well,
Always. Almost all politicians always bounce back. They have their ways and means. Because look, he did something, yes, it was scandalous. Doesn't mean he's gonna lose connections though. He's still gonna have those
yeah.
connections. He's still gonna have, power in some sort of form or capability, some form or way. He'll still have that power. But it's just, yeah, right now the heat is on him. It's gonna take
Yeah.
at least a couple of years until the whole corona situation is done.
It was a big mistake on his part.
I
It could
mean,
have been avoided. It could have been avoided. He didn't just magically fall on her mouth. It was intentional. Let's be real. This is real talk. Let's be real. He could have avoided it. He could
I
have
know he
held
could have.
himself for the
I
fact
mean,
that you hold that high position in office, and then she's your aide. I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, yeah, she left her. He left his wife and everything," but this is your aide. This is someone who works in your office. A
I
lot of
mean,
things are wrong in that
yeah.
scenario.
I mean, if you look at it, if you come talking to a relationship status and all that, I can go on and on about, how, you come in contact to the same person again and again. Obviously, you're going to develop some sort of, there's going to be some sort of friction. There's going to be,
Yeah.
some sort of attraction, XYZ. That will happen.
Yeah,
But
feelings will be caught.
will definitely be caught. Although they say, try to keep the feelings out of the workplace.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
Matt Hancock couldn't, keep his hands to himself, I guess, or his mouth.
But I mean, on the bright side, with the whole COVID, restrictions, it looks like, we might be moving forward with the July 19 Freedom Day, because,
Wow, you
yeah, I
just
read
changed
somewhere
it.
that
Did you just change it? Did you just say from 21st of June, now it's July 19 is the Freedom Day?
yeah, I mean, that's what I'm hearing now. It's July 19. Everyone is really anticipating that time. Fingers crossed that nothing happens and, it doesn't go back to phase one, because
Again,
apparently I think care homes are starting to have a lot of infections again.
there has been a lot of
Yeah,
infections. Yeah,
I
that is
know
right.
people who work in care homes who are saying that yes, infections are starting again. And I know what happened when at the start of COVID,
Yeah,
when care homes, a lot of residents died and a lot of people died,
yeah.
and we don't want a repeat of
Oh,
all of that again.
that is definitely something that we are trying to avoid as much as possible. Like I said, looking at all these situation there, I mean, this is something that we want to prevent as much as we can. And the best way is, the government right now, they have a window with that regards, getting people vaccinated and all of that. I
Yeah.
mean, looking at this, I mean, it's a good move on the government's part. It's a good move. People can argue and tell me, no, you're wrong, Nick. For you to say that, to go out and say that he had to push it. I mean, sensibly look at the situation. The cases are rising. It's true. But at the same time, looking at the figures right now, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it's positive, but compared to February, compared to January, the cases are way better than then.
Yes,
And
definitely.
that's something that we want to avoid as much as we can. And for that, I think, the way we're handling things right now, hopefully July 19th will be Freedom Day. And
Yeah.
hopefully, there you don't have to push there when it comes to weddings and stuff like that. Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah, that
I think
doesn't get
if-
pushed.
Yeah, if you were to ask me my biggest worry, I would say it's about people who are still planning their summer vacations and planning to travel, not to to be very careful. If you're planning to travel, please travel to a place that is, if it's not on the green list, at least on the amber list, and be very careful. Get your vaccines and get the first dose and the second dose if you must. But be very careful, because the last thing we want is for people to travel for summer and then come back and the whole thing starts again. I'm literally just scared about that, because I can't stand another year in lockdown or anything like that.
I mean, look, it's end of the day, I feel it's not the majority. The majority does, follow the rules and all of that. It's that small minority of people who don't have any consideration for the other person next to them.
Yeah.
And they think, okay, they're just going to be selfish in a time like this, especially in a time like this. I mean, when you don't think, you should be accountable for what you do. You have to be
of course.
accountable.
Yeah, but Nick, if I were to ask you now, do you think it's because people are selfish, or because they just genuinely don't believe there's anything called COVID?
I mean,
Because there are people like that.
look, I'm not an anti-vax person and all of those conspiracy theories and all of that, because look at it right now, the figures. I mean, these hospital figures, the hospitalizations, people dying. This is not just something that's made up. I've known actual people who've passed away. So I
And
mean,
I've go on.
no, please continue.
I was just going to say that I've had conversations with one or two persons that have told me there's nothing like COVID. That's all just a scam. You know, they're just trying to get money, or they're just trying to, I don't even understand what really the problem is, but they just, for one reason or the other, they don't believe. They think it's all a sham, or it's just a facade, or so there are people like that.
I think it's misinformation. That's people want to believe that, there is something fishy going on. If you believe that there is something wrong, there will definitely be something wrong.
Yeah, I think it's because some of these people who don't believe, they're just like they want to see actual corpses of people who have died from COVID.
Terrible. That's even terrible.
Yeah, it sounds sick, but it's like, until you show them, okay, this is someone's corpse, they died from COVID, and show them the facts. To them, it's just all statistics. It's just all numbers that someone just fabricated. And someone just drew up, okay, let's put this number, let's tell them 20 million people died from this. And everyone is just going to go, oh, really? Oh my gosh. Oh, what do we have to do? And all of that. So, yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, look, right now, look at it. The number of cases has been, taking it, for example, February. When February happened, there was almost 20,000 people, 35,000, something like that, people hospitalized in just a day. And you're telling me in that time, you still don't believe in the virus happening?
As long as they didn't go to the hospital to see them for themselves, they probably won't believe.
Oh, it's a hoax. Oh, it's a hoax.
Yeah, but let's not even talk about that. Like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
For all we know, COVID is real.
For all we know, it is. But they say all these points. It's like, oh, there's a big person behind all this. I blame Bill Gates or whoever. It's not China. It was a man-made disease. We need to make sure that the government, knows this. They make sure that they act against this. These are all the things that they were discussing about with that particular regard. I mean, it's entertaining to see how the people are responding to all of this. And it's disappointing. Like, in a time right now, like, look at the age that we are in the 21st century, there are still people who believe in all that nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, I
don't think it's going to change. People, I mean, everyone is entitled to their opinion. Everyone is entitled to believe what they want to believe. But just as long as your belief does not endanger the next person, because you don't believe COVID is real, and then, you do whatever you want, and then you have it, even if it doesn't show, you don't have the symptoms or whatever, and then you pass it to the next person. You're putting their lives in danger, and then for that's not okay.
That is not okay. Yeah, like you said, you can have your beliefs, you can have your opinions, but at the end of the day, if you are harming another person, then your opinions, then that is a problem. That will be cause of concern, rise to to concern, and people can actually talk against that. So I think within time, I think it's more on the transparency. Government has to be transparent as well.
Yeah,
because there has been times where the government, let's be honest, they've not been the most transparent with that regards. So,
well, to be fair, the government is hardly transparent with anything, isn't it? I mean, I did watch this interview. I can't remember who now, but someone's a politician, I would say, and then he was on, I think, ITV. Good morning. And they were asking him questions, what's happening, what's this, what's it about? And then he just kept going, I can't say for now, but we've got everything under control. He kept repeating it. And then the host had to say, this is all you've been saying. Give us facts, be transparent with us. Tell us the truth now, what's going on. I don't know if it's that sometimes they don't know the answers to these questions, or maybe they're still deliberating. So it's like, don't say anything until we know for sure.
That is
but most times they're really not transparent.
They are not.
Yeah. So,
I mean, Yeah, like you said, it's true. There are times like, yeah, for instance, an interview like that, when you're put on the spot, you have to understand when you go to these interviews, you will be questioned about these kind of things.
Definitely, yes.
So
You need
you
to
will
come prepared.
exactly, you have to come prepared with an answer, not, oh, it's all under control. It's all under control. Hey, I got you. Don't worry, we're
I
under
mean, we're
control.
not saying lie. I mean, if you do lie and you get caught, then it's your fault. But at least give us something better than, oh,
It's under
we've
control.
working it out. We can't say anything about that. This is the whole world asking now. This is the whole country
I mean,
wanting to
this is not a
know.
celebrity getting a baby, or they're getting married, or X, Y, and Z. I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm going to release this album. We got nothing to say right now. Don't worry, we'll let you know in the next coming month. This is
Exactly.
information. Like, people
Yeah.
are dying, people are getting sick, people are worried, and they want to know answers to this. And the government has to give some sort of answer. Not, oh, we can't really reveal that right now. Like, what is this, an
Yeah.
album release?
It's just really sad that all this is happening in the prime minister's regime. And this is government. It's just
It's
I don't know how a
unfortunate.
lot of people, yeah, I don't know how a lot of people are taking it right now and say, oh, we're never going to put him in office after this time. So we don't know. Yeah, just hope everything works out.
I hope, for me right now, what I hope, the new guy, the new health minister,
Yeah,
Javid, right? His name?
yeah, Javin, I
He
think.
Javid, yeah, that guy. I hope he does a better job. But it looks like he is in line with releasing the whole restrictions as soon as possible. I'm like, okay, I feel like, he's taking it really rushed. I mean, you have to be a
Uh,
little cautious at the same time.
I
Like,
think, yeah, if you say it like that, Nick, it's almost like, oh, the last guy didn't do any better. I want to impress people. So all the borders are open, everyone go crazy, go wild. And then, oh, rising cases, and then lockdown part 3. These things, no matter how much you're trying to let people know that you can do your job, you still
yeah,
you still need to tread carefully. You still need to be very, very, very careful, because you can't, in the end, you can't please everyone.
no, you cannot.
You
That's true.
can't,
Yeah.
if no matter what you do. So you just need to keep it in mind that the health of the whole country is all that matters.
That is correct. That is
Yeah.
correct. And yeah, the government needs to make sure that they, they follow with the rules, and they make people, comply with all these rules with that regards. And they have to be sensible with this particular matter, because, just because you want to win the popular vote or make people,
Yeah.
make people happy, being a people pleaser is not a good thing. That's
Yeah.
what I gotta say. That's my 2 cents
No.
with that regards. And yeah, in case you guys have anything else you guys want to do, well, hit us up, let us know. The number is 078-524-73473. But with that being said, we're going to be taking a real quick break, and we'll definitely be right back after this. Climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
They're talking about mental health. Well, if you went out and got some exercise in the fresh air, that will improve your mental health. It will make you feel better.
That's true. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. But then for some people, it's, how do you find the motivation to, especially when it comes to riding a bicycle, to do it again and again and again and again? It's a cycle that you have to be used to. How do you do it? What makes you wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to pick my bike up today. I'm going to cycle. What makes you want to do that?
What makes me want to do that?
Yeah. What do you like? What could you give listeners, like people listening in right now? What kind of tip could you give them?
Well, the first tip I would give them, if you haven't tried it before, try it. It can open up new horizons. It will make you fitter. It will definitely make you fitter. Cycling is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise you can do.
It sounds like, if you think about it, yeah, it sounds like great fun. Because what essentially you're trying to say is also at the same time, when you, if you look at it from this perspective, with regards to mental health, especially when you look at it with mental health, this is another way to fight it. I feel like you go outside, you meet more people, you interact with, socially, you will interact with more people, and you're keeping fit, you're making connections, you're breathing in the good and exhaling the bad. I feel like that's a great thing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got a better way with words than I have, I'll tell you. But you're quite right. What you say there. You're quite right.
I've been doing this for quite some time. Hey, you'll get the hang of it.
I've been doing it for about 10 minutes now. So, Yeah.
That I can never really understand people staying in one room the whole day when you can have the world to see. I am a traveler. I travel. I love traveling. Traveling is just one of the things I do. And on top of my bucket list was, to one time, hopefully when I get there, go to Nepal and climb Mount Everest. That is that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
Base camp, yeah.
At least.
We should be able to cycle there.
Oh.
Again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, how much has changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense. They can't
accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Or you didn't do very well, and they get upset. And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young, well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, he might say to me, you had one to forget. That's it.
Yeah, that sounds like a smart guy. I mean, yeah, that's the real fact of the matter, yeah.
He said to me, you had one to forget. Get over it. And that was it. So I dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much. A lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because, as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid. I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
Radio at its best. Relax Radio.
RELAKS. That is right. This is Relax Radio with me, Nick, and we got Laura on board as well. And yeah, we'll be keeping you company all the way until 5 p.m. That's right. We're talking about all the things that is going on in the UK, all the trending stuff, Matt Hancock and the vaccines and the way the government is handling
all the drama, all the scandals, everything, all the
every
juicy stuff.
single thing, definitely. And speaking of juicy stuff, well, there has been talks that the stadiums in Scotland are gonna be full by August 10th. You're already making a face. Yeah, I know what you're thinking.
Honestly, because I was reading that story, right, and then they're saying that they could either have a limited number or no no limit at all. It could be full, or they could put some restrictions. But what they're saying now is that by summer, all physical restrictions are going to be lifted in Scotland. They are really going above, like
above and beyond.
yeah. And it's a good thing to see that they're really trying to do everything possible to make sure everyone goes back to their normal lives. And they're saying that weddings, they're going to lift the numbers, the restriction.
That is right, yeah.
To the numbers at weddings, it's all going to be lifted. So I don't know about the football, though. I personally feel like they should take it one step at a time.
And,
just, I don't know, open
just to
up.
let you know, there will be at least, they're expecting at least a bunch of thousands of people for this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't expect less. It's a football stadium, it's a lot of people, a lot of shouting, a lot of spitting, a lot of sweating, a lot of body rubbing.
Sounds like a club to me. Are you sure you got it mixed up?
It's the whole lot. I think they should I don't know how, the restrictions to, social places like movie theaters and all the likes, if they're open or if they're still shut. But I think we should just start taking it one step at a time. I don't know if opening up the football stadium now to like no limits, no restriction is the best thing. But
it's definitely not the best thing, not even a good thing. But yeah,
I'm not saying. Yeah, go on.
I mean, looking at the cases, like I said, Scotland right now in the UK, Scotland has the most number of cases in the UK. Looking at the figures, I'm talking about statistics here. I hate numbers, but let's be honest, the numbers speak a lot. So it says, okay, the number of cases in Scotland is X like this. It's right now the most in the UK. And the way Scotland is playing it, they're taking it. I really don't understand what Nicola Sturgeon is going through. Why is she pushing so hard like this to make a whole release? Because looking at the situation in Wales, all right, for instance, Wales are taking it really slow. They are taking it really, really slow. Mark Draper is making sure that, okay, we make sure that everyone is safe. We will review, make sure everyone in the UK, every other country in the UK, that is Scotland, Northern Ireland, and the UK and England, open up, then we will open up.
Yeah.
But Scotland is going above and beyond. And the reason, I think, is the UEFA, right? The UEFA, the Euro 2020, the football match that is going on. There's a lot of organizers from international countries. So most of these countries are from the amber zone. So that's the amber traffic light. So these countries, they need to come into the country. And they have said, I've seen the interviews where they've said, okay, we will, in the UK, 75% capacity. That is for the finals, right? For Scotland, the whole match, 75% of stadium capacity will be allowed. But the problem is that 75% is the local people, the people who come into the country. These are not the VIPs, not the organizers. They are not included. And they are suspected to come in at least 15,000 to somewhere close between 10,000 to 15,000 of their organizers and VIPs.
Tell you what, I understand that this pandemic period has really crippled a lot of businesses, and it's a lot of business owners have lost a lot of money.
True,
and and they've shut down and stuff. But this is not the time to be selfish, and this is not the time to only like think about what am I going to profit if I'm coming in now? The Euro 2020 is going on or whatever. So, we need to do this as soon as possible. There are people who are still in the hospitals. There's still people who are fighting these infections. So, is Scotland making the right decision by, saying, football stadiums are not going to have any limit to the numbers come whenever? I don't think so. Yeah, especially if you're saying that they have the highest number in the whole of UK. It's not the right call at all. If she's being pressured, if Nicola Sturgeon is being pressured, or if she's just whatever it is that she's going through, she needs to really think it through.
Yeah, I think it's difficult right now, the way it's going. I really don't know what kind of pressure she's coming through, because there has been talks. A lot of these organizations have actually threatened Scotland, and said, okay, listen, if you don't let our organizers come in without isolating, like this 14-day isolation, which is compulsory. This is mandatory whichever country you come from. If it's an amber zone country, well, you better isolate. You better come in for self-quarantine for 14 days. They don't want to go through that. They don't want to go through something like that. And they're threatening and saying, okay, if you don't comply, well, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to take our games elsewhere. And that could be Budapest. It could be some other country. And that is rising of concerns right now.
I understand that every country wants to see how they can, do business with international, bodies and how they can make more money. But at the end of the day, you need to think about your own people first. You need to put their health at the forefront, because in the end, if these international companies or whatever they're called come in and do business or do whatever they want to do and avoid quarantine or avoid doing any COVID test or vaccine or whatever it is that they're asking for, and they put the lives of the Scottish people in danger.
That is true.
It's not. Let's just say that a lot of people in the UK are not going to forgive the government, and then they can have a target on their back.
I mean, right now they're celebrating. Right now they're making sure like, oh, yay, the government is cool. It's awesome. It's great. But after the cases hit, after the people, I mean, how can you say, oh, there's no evidence whatsoever? Like, look, the G7 summit happened and they said, oh, there's no concrete evidence to show that the G7 was the reason why we had a rise in cases in Cornwall. I'm talking about one particular place where the G7 visited, and they're saying, "Oh, there's no link whatsoever." And now, what's going to happen in Scotland? The cases are going to rise, and they're saying, "Oh, no, that's got nothing to do with the matches that is going on, football matches, nothing."
Tell you what,
I know you can see it from your face. Look, you're
frustrated. The reality is, it's sad because you know how people say, "Experience is the best teacher." Some people will not want to admit what is wrong, and they won't want to admit that whatever they're doing is not exactly, in the best interest of people. But until it's too late, until they're trying to salvage what's left of it, that's when, oh, we're so sorry, we had no idea, or we're trying to do our best. And it's like, oh, you were warned. You knew this was going to happen, but you just didn't. You didn't listen. And I know that football is it's a very passionate sport, a lot of fans, so it's easy for people to get lost in, oh, I want to go watch, my best team play, or, I want to go to the stadium with my friends and all of that. And we're tired. We've been indoors for over a year. And everyone's like, oh, no, I want to go back to watching football and all of that stuff. But no one is thinking about the post of this, the after effect, the aftermath, what happens next.
What comes next?
Yeah, you go to the stadium, you rub sweaty bodies with your friends. Oh, you're laughing and screaming and then throwing all sorts everywhere. And then you come back, you probably get a cold, you start sneezing, you start having a sore throat, you feel, oh, no, I'm just sick. I probably just screamed too much. And then a week or two, you're still not feeling well. You go for a test. Boom, you're COVID positive. And then you realize that you had actually spread it to 1,000 other people on your way there. And then it starts all over again, so honestly,
it's a vicious cycle. You're looking at it because one thing I can tell you about humans in general, we are very impatient beings. We are very impatient beings because especially now with technology, it makes us even more impatient. Like we need to be entertained at all times. So for them right now, their safety is not really the topmost concern. It has got to do with entertainment. We want to be entertained. We need to be entertained. We have to be entertained right now. That's what.
Well, there's so many forms of entertainment, Nick. If we're talking about entertainment, stay in the house and watch some TV or something. But like I said, if you're putting the lives of the whole country in danger, you kind of just want to ask yourself, what is going to happen? What's going to be left of your government if things go south, and if things don't exactly work out the way you planned?
I mean,
who's going to take the fall for it?
Look, nothing will ever happen to the government. We have to realize this. The government, if anything was going to happen, they're going to sit in their, in their chalets or whatever, or they're going to go to their cabanas wherever in Spain or Morocco or whatever, and they'll chill and relax because they've taken most of the tax money that we've given them. All right, this is how most governments work. Anywhere,
I
you know,
don't.
it's
Yeah.
frustrating, but it's the truth. They will be like, okay, we did this, we told this, we said this, we warned the people, they wouldn't listen, and then we know that was not linked to this X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
After they're done with their party, after they're done with their term, they have already jobs. Look at the green seal issue. I don't know if you're aware of that green seal issue, David Cameron. That's the issue where he quit his job. Immediately afterwards, he was a consultant for a big private firm, and he was earning £1 million, like thousands of pounds from that. I'm telling you, these guys, they already have their game plan in set. They know what they're gonna do.
I don't ever get involved in politics. Like I don't like the sound of it. I don't like to get involved whatsoever. But in the case of the Scottish government opening football stadiums, let's just hope that even if they are, doing all these things, they need to at least put a little bit of restriction in the stadiums, just a little bit. Don't not to let everyone just go wild and crazy. This is not. Let's just say we're not out of the woods yet.
Not yet. Yeah,
everything is not. It's not so rosy and glamorous as it used to be. Back then, I feel like we just all took our health for granted, and everyone did. But now that we're starting to realize, oh my gosh, I've been blessed with good health. I don't have any lung problems. I don't have any heart or kidney problems. And then you just want to go crazy. No, let's all still be cautious. So they need to still take from England and learn from England and Wales, and not just go football crazy.
That is the truth, right? That is, if anything, that is the most realist thing that that we're talking about. People should be more aware. They should be more careful and not live for the short-term entertainment.
Of course.
Like I said, we can always play a match. We can always. Oh no, there'll be scheduling issues. Bro, listen. Once you die, there is no scheduling issues anymore. It's done. It's done and dusted. So make sure you stay protected. Follow the rules, even though it's hard. This is just the things that we need to do for the betterment of the country. The faster we do this, the more we sacrifice. We've sacrificed a lot. How many months now we've sacrificed? More than 1.5 years we've sacrificed. Why do you want to push it back? You can't be patient for just a couple of more months.
Yeah, it's like, for me, we're almost at the end of the race. So you just trying to stop now or trying to take a wrong turn, you're just gonna undo everything we've done so far.
Or there could be different ways they could implement. Okay, you want to have the match? Okay, fine, we can have the match. But you have to implement different standards. Like, for instance, if people who want to go there, they better be vaccinated. Or either they have 1 dose or 2 doses. Yeah. That's at least do that. Yes, the count will reduce, but at least there is safety. Then we know for a fact they're not going to spread it as much as they can right now. But they're not even going to consider that. So what's up? What's the government?
And even with fans sitting in the stadium, you can still put the 2 meters distance thing. I don't know if just a certain meters, right? Just some distance. So there is not too much sweating or too much body rubbing or too much of contact.
Yeah, correct.
Between fans. And there are different ways they could do it, but I don't think they should just lift up that restriction and say, oh, you know what, as many can accommodate in the stadium, everyone just troop in. I don't think it's the right decision, but
okay, let's say for hypothetically, let's say now, I'm just gonna say something very hypothetically.
Right.
What if your fiance gives you and says, okay, listen, we got the tickets for the final, for the match, and he wants to go? Would you go?
It depends. I don't have a problem going, right? Because I've never been to a football stadium. It just never occurred to me. But yeah, I don't have a problem as long as I'm keeping some distance with other people that I'm going to be there with.
What if there's going to be 70,000 people, 50,000 people, let's say around 50 to 40,000 people in that stadium?
Tell you what, that is not going to be the last football match that's going to be played, right? There will be next year. So we'll have to hold on and wait next year, because in the end, I need to think about myself, because I'm not just, it's not just for me. I see myself as a very healthy person. I've never been sick, never been in a hospital, never been admitted, all of that stuff, but other people around me may not be as healthy as I am. They may not be as strong as I am. I've got a 16-month-old nephew. I don't want to go to a football match and then,
True.
and come back and then he's sick because I've given him something. No, let's just be safe.
That is true.
I
mean, why take the risk, right? Even if there's a minuscule risk right there, why take it? Even if you're vaccinated,
it's not worth it.
It is definitely. I mean, that will weigh on your conscience for a lifetime. And trust me, a lot of people who do get this and who have passed it on, I know they feel very, very crappy right now, and they must not be really happy about it. And it happens. So for me, I don't know why. I love football. I'm a football guy. I love football. I can say for a fact I love football. Football is one of my favorite sports. But in a situation right now, this is very extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
Where we did not predict this. And yes, if you have a lifetime ticket, unfortunately, you give it up, okay? Because most people will say, "Oh no, I can't give up a final ticket." I mean, come on, what are you talking about? But then get yourself vaccinated. At least.
Yeah.
Take the proper precautions or wear your mask. I mean, because when you go to a football stadium, let's be honest, people, even with their masks on, there will still be a lot of shouting. There will still be a lot of screaming. They say, "Oh no, that's not going to happen. We're going to find people." Come on,
yeah.
man. Who are you lying to? I wasn't born in the 4th grade.
Yeah, of course. We know some things are just inevitable. There is. It's just like when the government said, okay, so no restrictions at weddings. You can have as many guests as the halls can accommodate, but there's no music, no dancing.
So what's the point?
No. So I'm not going to a funeral. I'm going to celebrate, myself or my marriage or, someone. It's weddings are for celebrations. Weddings are supposed to be for dancing and,
True,
so
that is true.
You say, go get married, but don't sing and don't dance, don't hug. Come on. I'd rather do my wedding in my living room. Just do it on the sofa and that's it. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean that don't hug. It's frustrating. But look, like you said, there's no dancing, there's no any of that sort. I mean, we're not living in the medieval ages. I mean, we've progressed farther than that. And even the medieval ages, they had all these things. They still, they still did, they followed the rules. They did all of that things. And then, I mean, look, you can't have a wedding and this extraordinary wedding without a party. Come on. I mean, I get that.
It's just like you saying, you go to the football stadium and then people won't shout. It's like,
who are you?
We all know that's gonna happen. Like,
I mean, football and shouting are tie hand.
They're twins.
I mean, they're twins. That is right.
Yeah, definitely. That is what keeps the players going. All that buzz and all that shouting, that's what keeps them hyped. So if you take it away, it's like they're auditioning for a role as Romeo or Juliet. You can't talk.
Imagine just clapping. People are just clapping. That's it. I mean, that is the worst thing. I mean, imagine like hundreds of people clapping. That's it. Like, where's the shout? Where's the in a foot? It's like a tennis match. In a tennis match, yes, you gotta be quiet.
Golf.
Just clap. That is, if they want to try that on football, I'm telling you right now, that's not gonna happen in a million years. That's never ever gonna happen, because once you see one of these players, do a backflip or something like that, you're gonna go wild. I will go wild.
Definitely.
I mean, that will happen. You will just just start hugging the next person next to you. That just happens.
Yeah, it's like I've seen just like I said, I've never been to a stadium, but I've watched matches, and I see how passionate the fans are. And then even if you've never met the person next to you, right there you guys are best friends, because you're hugging each other and then you're screaming, and then it's crazy. But before that time you didn't know who that person was.
Yeah.
But
it's like a sport that you won't even care about that person.
Exactly. At that time you don't care. So imagine if that person might have tested or might not even know that they're positive, and then you're hugging them just because you're passionate for the game. And then you leave there a changed man, because you've got
definitely
COVID.
Changed.
So
you're changed in many ways. You're like, okay, the match won. I'm a changed man. I feel funny too. Honey, in the morning I wake up and I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
That's just a cough. I was shouting.
You usually don't even know until it's too late. And the worst thing for me is when you don't have it, but you've passed it on to other people. They don't deserve to get the infection. You know better. You knew better at that time. You should have prevented it.
That is correct.
So-
I mean, that's just, the 2 cents about it. And yeah. With that regards, though, we're going to be taking a real quick break, and we'll definitely be right back. We're going to be talking a bit more before we say our goodbyes. Definitely.
Yeah.
And taking a look at your time right now, though, it is 4:59. Good evening. Climb Mount Everest. That is that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
They're talking about mental health. Well, if you went out and got some exercise in the fresh air, that would improve your mental health. It will make you feel better.
That's true. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. But then for some people, it's how do you find the motivation to, especially when it comes to riding a bicycle, to do it again and again and again and again? It's a cycle that you have to be used to. How do you do it? What makes you wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to pick my bike up today. I'm going to cycle. What makes you want to do that?
What makes me want to do that?
Yeah. What do you like? What could you give listeners, like people listening in right now? What kind of tip could you give them?
Well, the first tip I would give them, if you haven't tried it before, try it. It can open up new horizons. It will make you fitter. It will definitely make you fitter. Cycling is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise you can do.
It sounds like, if you think about it, yeah, it sounds like great fun. Because what essentially you're trying to say is also at the same time, when if you look at it from this perspective, with regards to mental health, especially when you look at it with mental health, this is another way to fight it. I feel like you go outside, you meet more people, you interact with, socially, you will interact with more people, and you're keeping fit, you're making connections, you're breathing in the good and exhaling the bad. I feel like that's a great thing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got a better way with words than I have, I'll tell you. But you're quite right. What you say there. You're quite right.
I've been doing this for quite some time. Hey, you'll get the hang of it.
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 10 minutes now, so yeah.
That I can never really understand people staying in one room the whole day when you can have the world to see. I am a traveler. I travel. I love traveling. Traveling is just one of the things I do. And on top of my bucket list was, to one time, hopefully when I get there, go to Nepal and climb Mount Everest. That is that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. Okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
Base camp, yeah.
At least.
Would you be able to cycle there?
Oh.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" Hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. Got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're riding? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts mainly because they're nice and bright, so they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. That's very important, right? Because you want cars, yeah.
Very important. And also, like, people see me in like calves, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on here, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" Hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. You look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
I'm tripping, I've been sipping, that's how I control.
Radio at its best. Relax Radio.
Welcome back to the show. This is Relax Radio with me, Nick. And hey, we got Laura on board as well in the final stretch of the show. What's happening, Laura? You look like you're really relaxed right now.
Oh, I am. Yeah. It's Monday. I normally don't like Mondays, Nick, but today it feels different. It feels different,
Why though? What's going on? Come on.
I don't know. It feels positive. I'm feeling this positive vibe. I just want to distribute it and just share with everyone,
Oh yeah.
Everyone just have a drop of the positivity.
I want my positivity with a little bit of whipped cream and and a cherry on top.
Now don't push it. Don't push it, Nick.
But yes, jokes aside, welcome back to the show. This is Real Talk with me, Nick, and we got Laura. And yeah, we're going to be keeping you guys company all the way. And if you want to be part of the show, it's pretty simple. Hit us up on those numbers, 07852 473 473. And yeah, looking at the situations right now in the UK and Scotland, since we're topic of Scotland, we were talking about how their stadium and all of that jazz is going on.
Yeah.
Well, the vaccine self-registration portals have finally opened. Yeah, they started launching that in Scotland. It's pretty late, in my opinion. I mean, in comparison to the rest of the UK.
Yeah. Considering how they're trying to go ahead with, lifting all the restrictions, but then they're a bit behind on the self-registration. It's like, get your priorities straight. It should be the other way around. Get the portals open first, and then you deal with the lifting restrictions. But hey, I'm not in power. I'm not in the government. I don't have any say in that. So I don't know.
But it's for me. I mean, looking at it, yes, in the UK right now, England is going forward more faster in that comparison. They're getting more of the adults. A lot of these, over 18s, they've given alternatives with the vaccine when it comes to the vaccine. So you get the Janssen & Janssen, then you get the Moderna, you got the AstraZeneca, you got the Pfizer vaccine. So there's like 4 or 5 different vaccines. It's like a cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like a cocktail right there.
That was a good one.
but looking at all these things, it's great that there are alternatives and you can register and get yourself, vaccinated, book your vaccine appointments. And in Scotland, though, the timing is really a little slow. And it begs the question again, looking at all of that, it begs the question, is this the right time to be lifting all of these type of things, sort of, the restrictions, or are they trying to please some type of political powers or other countries, perhaps?
I think probably they just didn't think about priorities. They just didn't think it was necessary. Maybe they were just waiting for England to do hers and, to say, oh, is it going to work? And then, oh, fine, they've done it. It works. There's 2 hours now. I really don't know what the problem is or why they took this long. But I guess better late than never, And then the good thing about it is obviously you can book it, so you don't have to wait in line. You don't have to stress yourself. Just pick your day, what day you want to have the vaccine, and go ahead and do it. But then again, Nick, you just want to ask yourself, what about other people who are not waiting for their COVID vaccine, but are just waiting for treatment for other health-related issues?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to talk about this widow who was, addressing Prime Minister, and she was kind of saying, she lost her husband, to cancer. He was waiting for surgery.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I get it. Hospitals are filled up now, trying to balance, the numbers and trying to focus and concentrate on the COVID patients. But let's not forget that other people have other health-related problems.
That is true.
We can't just ignore and say, oh, yours is not as serious as the other person that has COVID. Says who? You don't know how much life that person has. You don't know if that person has got COVID, might even outlive the person with cancer. So she lost her husband because they've been waiting. Apparently, they waited for his surgery, and they were told that they couldn't attend to them because they had to deal with the COVID patients. And she's like, "Don't let my husband, be forgotten."
That is right. I mean, look,
that's just it.
It's the NHS right now. They have been talking about it. It's not the NHS's fault. I'm not going to blame the NHS here. I mean, it's definitely not their fault. Looking at it, right now, the situation, when you take a look into it, taking a glimpse into all of this, there has been a backlog of these operations. And it's not really the NHS's fault, because right now they have to prioritize. And yes, it's true. The matter at hand is, it's true. Yes, there are people who could even outlive the corona patients. There are cases like that. But, in consideration to all of that, the government's priorities is what I'm trying to talk about here. And when you look at all of that, it is warped. And, you can see how the situation is right now. It is frustrating. I know. I can feel the frustration. I can feel your frustration, my frustration, the people's frustration. When they open up like that, and they open up completely, they make sure, okay, oh no, everything is fine now. Y'all can go enjoy. And then, you get again the number of cases, and it's already overburdened. We already have a huge backlog from 2020. The number of cases that we have, people who have, it could be small surgeries from a cataract to a total shoulder replacement or something. It could be any of those, but those are still important things.
Definitely.
A lot of people are not coming forward now, because they say, I've seen actual people. I asked them, why don't you go to the doctors anymore? They're like, no, it's no point anyways, because the way Corona is going, they don't want us anymore to come to there, and they lose faith. People are not sure, and it's not their fault.
Yeah, reading what this woman said, her husband, right, was diagnosed with stage 4 bowel cancer in July 2018.
Oh,
right. So that far back, and after so many rounds of chemotherapy, he was booked in for surgery in Manchester. This was March. He was set for March last year, but in April, he was told that he couldn't have his surgery because hospitals were struggling to balance the increasing number. I get it. The government says, put COVID patients at the forefront. They come first. Yes, but they're the only ones we're going to attend to. I get it. You're trying to put them first, but don't forget about other people. There are people who have very little sicknesses or illnesses, but if they're not handled properly and immediately, they can actually spiral out of control, and they can get worse, and they can become something that is, and you probably think to yourself, but it was just something this small. How come they died from that? They died because you did not give them that attention. They died because at that point, they wanted treatments. They wanted medical attention. They thought it was just a little thing, just I'll wait. Or the hospital's like, you just have a mild headache, you just have a migraine. And then the next thing you hear, that person, or probably it wasn't just a migraine, it was a tumor in their head. But you would have known if you'd actually booked them in for a session to come to the hospital to do a CT scan or whatever, or an MRI scan, to see that, it's actually not a headache or a migraine you've got a tumor in your head, and we need to operate. But if you don't put people's health on the pedestal of importance with COVID, then you're going to have a lot more deaths on your hands.
Yeah. Look, prioritize. They have to prioritize. And when it comes to priority, it's the severity of the disease. How severe is it? Okay. Can they handle it? Can they self-isolate and stay at home? Because most of these cases, a lot of these cases, okay, look, for once, yes, you make a fair point, but a lot of these cases, majority of these cases were people above the ages of 60. So they are already, what do you call that? Their immunity, they're more vulnerable, They're more vulnerable when it comes to their immune system. So their likelihood of them struggling with complications as well is high. I get what the government did. They had to prioritize a lot of the COVID patients, but they did, as a result, they overlooked at a lot of the other people as well, with, you might call them simple diseases. It could be diabetes, it could be anything, but these people also need care. That's the whole point. Yes,
definitely. They need to be looked at. You can't say, you're trying to feed the poor, and then you're trying to. I don't know how to put it. I've got it in my head, Nick. Sorry,
I kind of get what you're trying to say.
But I'm just saying that because there is an insane number of COVID infections, you can't ignore those people who, do you know what I mean, who don't
I get it.
have as serious implications or complications as that. No matter how small it is now, if it's not attended to, you don't know what's going to become the next day.
That is correct. That is definitely.
So it's really sad that her husband may not have died from COVID, but he's gone.
He's gone. A life is a life.
And it could have been avoided if he'd been booked in for surgery.
I mean,
So
yes,
when, yeah,
it's the priority. I think the government's priorities, where they prioritize all of the COVID patients, no matter how minor it is. They prioritized all of that instead of looking into cases like this. Yes, cancer. Somebody had cancer. It might not sound like a big thing. They're like, oh, we can just give chemo and they'll be okay. But some of these cases are not. Some of these cases are not. And it begs the question, the government, what were they even thinking at that particular time and space? I don't really know. I mean, if I had an answer to this, I wouldn't even, I would run for politics. But yes, I mean, the way it's going, we don't really know how the government is handling. Hopefully, on top of, it's entertaining in the sense that, we're having all of these, big problems.
yeah.
And then we have someone like Matt Hancock doing all of that. I just going back to that, thinking of that, it's very unfortunate. I mean, it's very sad to look at all of that. It's just my 2 cents on that.
There's a lot of drama going on now. We've got the serious bits, we've got the ones that make you raise your brows. Really, but in the end, these things they're all important, and they have consequences. Because look at Matt Hancock now; he's lost his position. He's no longer the health minister, and I'm sure he regrets this. And he's going to regret this for a very, very long time. So a lot of things just going on. And basically, the government should learn to, like you said, prioritize. Let it not be a case of misplaced priorities. The things that we're supposed to do, we leave them undone. And we just focus on one particular area. Or you're trying to better one part. It's like you're trying to establish, I don't know, maybe you do the roads and then you forget that other places need developing as well. Other places need to be looked at. It's just like a person now, right? You wake up in the morning, you're concentrating so much on taking a shower, right? I'd like to think everyone takes a shower every day. But
I mean, even till this day, I'm not sure people don't even know to wash their hands. I mean, they're asking. I mean, there was these advertisement infomercials where they say, "Okay, this is how you wash your hand, not like this." I'm telling you, people don't. That's just.
It's like you're trying to wash your kids and everything. Some people forget to wash in between their toes. So it's like, get in there, like that place is part of your body. Dig in deep and wash it, and But yeah, it's really sad when I think about it. And she's not the only one. I'm pretty sure she's not the only one that has lost a loved one to non-COVID related sicknesses. Yeah. So
these are things that the government will be also held accountable for. They will have to answer these people as well. I mean, I just want to know what their reply could be to these kind of people. They can't just blame it all on COVID and say, "Oh, this was just unprecedented cases. We didn't expect this. So I'm sorry that something unfortunate has happened to you. And yes, I beg your forgiveness." That's it. I beg your forgiveness.
And they will probably just offer some monetary compensation, being politicians that they are. So, who are we kidding? We already know how it goes down.
But yes. anyways, it is about that time of the day. We had a great day today. I don't know. I had a good time with you, Laura. I hope you had a good time.
Yes, I did. Absolutely.
And we'll definitely catch you again tomorrow. We'll be part of the show all the way until 5 p.m. So make sure you guys keep it locked right here. And with that being said, my name is Nick. And
I'm Laura.
All right, and we are out of here. Peace and much love.